So, this research is on estate agent, how to be an estate agent, and how to be a successful estate agent, and how to run a letting company or an office, estate agent office successfully. So, this is a broad research on all the different necessary knowledge that is very important for an estate agent. First of all, an estate agent is a person or business that arranges the selling, renting, or management of properties. So, either selling, renting, or management of properties and other buildings in the United Kingdom and Ireland. An agent that specializes in renting is often called a letting or management agent. So, if you are just someone, you are managing someone else's property, so you're going to be known, you're not going to be known as an estate agent, you're going to be known, rather, you're going to be known as a manager, a management agent or letting agent. This is what you call letting agent or management agent. Estate agents are mainly engaged in the marketing of property available for sale, and a solicitor or licensed conveyancer is used to prepare the legal documents. In Scotland, however, many solicitors also act as estate agents, a practice that is rare in England and Wales. It is customary in the United Kingdom and in Ireland to refer to real estate or real property simply as property. The estate agent remains the current title for the person responsible for the management of one group of privately owned, all or mostly tenanted properties under one ownership. Alternative titles are factor, steward, or bailiff, depending on the era, the region, and the extent of the property concerned. Origin. The term originally referred to a person responsible for managing a landed estate, while those engaged in the buying and selling of homes were house agents, and those selling land were land agents. So you have house agents, those selling homes, they will be house agents, those selling land agents. However, in the 20th century, estate agent started to be used as a generic term. Estate agent is roughly synonymous with the United States term real estate broker. State agents need to be familiar with their local area, including factors that could increase or decrease property prices. Example, if a new road or airport is to be built, this can blight houses nearby. New road, airport built, this can blight houses nearby. Equally, the closing of a quarry or improvement of an area can enhance prices. In advising clients on asking price, the agent must be aware of recent sale prices or rental values for comparable properties. Regulation. The full legal term and definition of an estate agent within the UK can be found on the Office of Fair Trading (OFT), Office of Fair Trading website. The full legal term and definition of an estate agent within the UK can be found on the Office of Fair Trading website. Enforcement of these regulations is also the responsibility of the OFT. In the United Kingdom, residential estate agents are regulated by the Estate Agents Act 1979, the Property Misdescriptions Act 1991, which is due to go in October 2013, as well as the more recently enacted Consumers, Estate Agents and Redress Act 2007. In September 2012, CPR's Consumer Protection Regulation was introduced, which now regulates the residential sales process. For residential property, there are also a few trade associations for estate agents. INEA, the Independent Network of Estate Agents and National Association of Estate Agents (NAEA). NAEA members can be disciplined for breaches of their code of conduct. Their disciplinary process includes everything from cautions and warnings right through to more severe penalties of up to £5,000 for each rule breached. Some estate agents are members of the Royal Institution of Chartered Surveyors RICS, the principal body for UK property professionals dealing with both residential, commercial, and agricultural property. Members, known as chartered surveyors, are elected based on examination and are required to adhere to a code of conduct which includes regulations about looking after their clients' money and professional indemnity insurance in case of error or negligence. The Ombudsman for Estate Agents scheme, which obtained OFT approval for the Code of Practice for Residential Sales in and as of November 2006, claims to have 2,532 member agencies. There is a legal requirement to belong to either organization to trade as an estate agent. Agents can be fined if they are not a member of a redress scheme. The redress scheme was brought in alongside and to govern agents in reference to the HIP, Home Information Pack, industry structure in the UK. A handful of national residential estate agents chains exist, with the majority being locally or regionally specialized companies. Several multinational commercial agencies exist, typically Anglo-American, pan-European or global. These firms all seek to provide the full range of property advisory services, not just agency. Only a handful of large firms trade in both commercial and residential property. Fees. Lettings. Estate agents who handle lettings of commercial property normally charge a fee of 7 to 15% of the first year's rent, plus the whole of the first month's rent. If two agents are charging 10%, they will split the fee between them. Estate agents selling commercial property, known as investment agents, typically charge 1% of the sale price. The fees charged by residential letting agents vary depending on whether the agent manages the property or simply procures new tenants. Charges to prospective tenants can vary from £0 to £300 in non-refundable fees, usually described as application, administration, or processing. Application, administration, processing fees for all three. There are no guidelines for letting agents on charges except that they are forbidden by law to charge a fee for a list of properties. Otherwise, they are free to charge as they please. The first month's rent in advance plus a refundable bond, usually equal to 1 month's rent, is also generally required. Most residential lettings in the UK are governed by assured short-hold tenancy contracts. Assured short-hold tenancies, generally referred to simply as short-hold, give less statutory protection than earlier, mostly obsolete types of residential lettings. Short-hold tenancy agreements are standard contracts. The wording is generally available from legal stationers and on the internet for around £1. Although most lettings agents will charge £30 to provide one, it is important that tenant referencing checks are in place prior to a tenant moving into a property. The credit check can be run using credit history data from Equifax, Experian, or Call Credit. There are three main UK providers. So Equifax, Experian, or Call Credit. Using an in-house website system or a managed referencing service, a reputable agent will also ask for an employment reference and a previous landlord reference to attempt to verify that the tenant can afford the rental on the property and that there were no serious problems with the previous agent. It is also essential that proof of identity and proof of residency proof of identity, proof of identity are also collected and filed. Collected and file it. Collected proof of residency, proof of identity, proof of identity, proof of residence. Selling. Estate agents selling residential property generally charge between 0.5% sole agency and 3% multiple agency of the achieved sale price plus VAT value added tax. Some agents may charge for additional marketing such as newspapers and websites. However, generally the advertising is included in the fee. All fees must be clearly agreed and noted in the agency agreement before market, so there is no confusion of additional charges. In 2011, which magazine found their national average estate agents fees to be 1.8%, although fees vary widely. Other than for the cheapest properties, estate agent fees are generally the second most expensive component of the cost of moving a house in the United Kingdom after stamp duty. High street agents rarely charge upfront costs for selling nor costs for aborting a sale and withdrawing a home from the market. So, whilst other options are available to sell property with online agents, they do often charge upfront fees with no guarantee of selling, or perhaps the motivation a no sale, no fee high street agency will offer. Other approaches. Since around 2009, estate agents have provided an alternative to the traditional fee structure, claiming cheaper fixed fee selling packages. These online estate agents claim to give private property sellers the ability to market their property via the major property portals. The preferred medium used by traditional high street estate agents for a fraction of the cost of the traditional estate agency. New models have been introduced which uses digital media screens in place of the agent's traditional high street window. These screens allow agents to take their listings into remote locations where an office may otherwise not be available. In February 2010, the Office of Fair Trading announced that a change in the legislation for estate agents has led to a shake-up in the way homes are sold, allowing cheaper online agents to become more established than they could before. Intermediary estate agents and or property portals that are based in the United Kingdom have started to encourage UK and worldwide estate agents to collaborate by showing all their properties, thus allowing site visitors to see a vast array of UK and overseas properties all on one website. Research undertaken in 2007 said that the most effective way of selling property is via for sale signs. 28% of customers had seen the estate agents for sale signs before researching more in depth into the properties. Searching for houses via the internet came in a close second, 21%, with newspapers third at 17%. Internet came in a close second. Internet, 21%. And the most traditional was customers visiting an estate agent's office, 15%. So nowadays people look more on internet than on newspaper, than on offices. In 2010, 80% to 90% of properties were found via the internet, and agents see fewer people walking into their offices. Boards are still very effective, but many agents are now cutting out paper advertising and moving just to digital, such as e-mags and just the web. Other methods included auctions 11%, word of mouth 3%, and leaflets 2%. Technology. Estate agents use estate agency software to manage their buying applicants, property viewings, marketing, and property sales. Their buying applicants, property viewings, marketing, and property sales. Estate agents can use the software to prepare property particulars which are used to advertise the property either online or in print. They can also record the requirements of a buying applicant and automatically match them against their database of properties. Once a sale is agreed, they can manage the chain of linked property sales using the software. Estate agency software will also help with property marketing by automatically distributing the property details to property portals. The latest technology enables home buyers to receive property details while outside a property. Visit estate agents' websites for the latest listings and display properties for sale in the local vicinity using location-based applications on mobile phones. In recent years, Agents have started working together again through systems similar to the USA called MLS, multi-listing service. This is where a main agent will take on a property and send details via the most to other local sub-agents. The sub-agents will market and introduce applicants to the main agent. MLS, multi-listing service, can achieve more offers, sell a property quicker, and is offered by agents as a premium service. In the US, property data is passed from the agent's software by the RETS data feed schema. In the UK, the INEA IDX the IDX Information Data Exchange data feed is being adopted by many software to receive sub-MLS property listings back. In both cases, technology via MLS and IDX means that sub-agents collaborating can populate many more properties into their websites by working together. Estate agents speak. Estate agents are known for their unique way of putting a positive spin on their description of properties. For example, in need of modernization may actually mean a great deal of repair work is required to a house. This is need of modernization. This is necessary as they do not wish to offend any clients that may like the way their home is currently finished. Equally, with buyers alike may give feedback that too much work is required on a house, yet the next person finds the property perfectly fine. So there is a degree of opinion when it comes to describing the opinion of a property. So, buying agent, real estate broker. Royal Institution, external links, Royal Institution of Chartered Surveyors, National Association of Estate Agents, NAE, the Independent Network of Estate Agents, INEA, MLS IDX, Association of Residential Lettings Agents, ARLA, National Association of Property Buyers, NAPB, the Property Ombudsman, TPOS, Jobs in Estate Agency Visit Powerhouse Recruitment, Department for Business Reference, the Department for Business Enterprise and Regulatory for Reform, berr.gov.uk 2011 10-10-08, retrieved 2011-11 15, archived website to http://web.archive.org/2011-20 rules of conduct.pdf. 3. Why use an NAEA member? NAEA retrieved 2011-11-15 Ombudsman for Estate Agents Scheme explained .tpos.co.uk retrieved to May 2015 Estate Agents Fees exposed March 2011 which newswhich.co.uk 110331 retrieved 2012-09-23 Office of Fair Trading website http://www.oft.gov.uk/news/press/2010/18 archived website archived February 21 2010 at the Wayback Machine BBC News website Estate Agent Speak a dictionary 11 October 2002 viewed 2011 1007. So there are 7 different references. Buying agent, real estate broker. Now before we go into that, we're going to find out the full legal term and definition of an estate agent within the UK can be found on the Office of Fair Trading. So you got to go Office of Fair Trading. Office of Fair Trading, non Ministerial Government Department were formed in 1973. So it's formed in 1973, 73, 83, 93, 2003, 13, 40, 13, 14, 15, 16, 43 years, 20, dissolved 2014, superseding agency, Competition and Markets Authority, jurisdiction, United Kingdom, headquarters, Fleet Bank House, 2 to 6, Salisbury Square, London, EC4Y8JX, employees 579, annual budget 55.843 million pounds. Was that 55 million pounds? The 56 million 2012 to 2013. Non-ministerial government department executive Clive Maxwell, chief executive, website www.oft.gov.uk. The Office of Fair Trading was a not-for-profit and non-ministerial government department of the United Kingdom established by the Fair Trading Act 1973, which enforced both consumer protection and competition law, acting as the UK's economic regulator. The OFT's goal was to make markets work well for consumers, ensuring vigorous competition between fair dealing businesses and prohibiting unfair practices such as rogue trading, scams, and cartels. Its role was modified and its powers changed with the Enterprise Act 2002. The Department for Business Innovation and Skills announced reforms to the UK consumer protection and competition regimes under the provisions of the Enterprise and Regulatory Reform Act 2013. The Competition and Markets Authority, CMA, the Competition and Markets Authority, on 1st February 2014, combining many of the functions of the OFT for trade and the Competition Commission, and superseding both regulation for the consumer credit industry, passed from the OFT to the new Financial Conduct Authority, FCA, Financial Conduct Authority, from April 20 role. The majority of the OFT's work consisted of analyzing markets, enforcing consumer and competition law, merger control, licensing, and supervisory work of Consumer Credit State Agency, anti-money laundering supervision, advocacy, delivering information, education programs and campaigns to business and consumer studies into how markets are working. The OFT investigated markets to see whether they were working well for consumers and customers. Where appropriate, studies led to market investigation references to the Competition Commission to enforce action, consumer awareness campaigns, or to recommendations to government which were published. Communication to explain and improve awareness and understanding, showing how competitive markets that work well are important for consumers' fair dealing, businesses, and economic performance. Explaining these decisions transparently, promoting compliance by explaining to business that the law is and how the OFT will apply it, promoting consumer awareness and confidence, coordinating effectively with enforcement partners locally, nationally, and internationally, and advising government on how to achieve the most effective regime for competition and consumer structure. The OFT worked under a structure arranged by markets rather than legislation, with the Services, Infrastructure and Public Markets Group and a Goods and Consumer Group. Officials specializing in the different legal and regulatory regimes work closely together in each of these two groups. This enabled the OFT to look more easily at whole markets and to use all the tools available to improve them if they were not operating effectively. The OFT used consumer and competition enforcement, market studies and references, education and communication in appropriate combination. These market sector groups sat alongside other OFT groups, mergers and cartels and criminal enforcement. The OFT was situated off Fleet Street near to Blackfriars Station, was next to St. Bride's Church. Market and policies initiatives. Based on expanded powers granted under the Enterprise 2002, the OFT explored how different market sectors were in order to help markets work well. It sometimes researched one particular market in detail, or, for example, codes of practice or professional rules operated across different markets in a range of businesses. The results of the research, which were published, helped the OFT to assess what action, if any, needed to be taken to protect consumers' interests. They could recommend stronger enforcement or changing the regulations or suggest an awareness raising campaign for consumers, but will not always recommend intervention. And this is the case, will ensure that any non-intervention decision is well informed and open to public scrutiny. 2006, the OFT restructured in response to Treasury proposals for splitting the department into separate consumer and competition regulators. The OFT argued that to protect consumers effectively, it had to be able to use both consumer law and competition law approaches in a holistic fashion, moving away from division by legislative area. The OFT created divisions based on market sector. These officials are supported by a dedicated economics branch, also including statisticians and financial analysts, the office of the chief economist, a legal specialist, and a policy advisory branch. Cases. Credit card charges. In other words, the OFT investigated the charges being imposed on customers of credit card companies. This report, the OFT confirmed these charges were unlawful as they amounted to a penalty rather than the actual losses suffered by the companies. It said it would be to investigate any charge over £12, similar for egg credit card accounts, indicating that £12 would not be fair and acceptable charge itself. The OFT said it would be up to court to determine such an amount based on the established legal precedent that the only recoverable cost would be actual costs incurred. I liquidated damages. The credit card companies did not produce evidence of their actual costs to the OFT, instead insisting their charges are in line with clear policy and information provided to customers. Charges have been as much as £38 per item, which campaigners argue is well beyond the cost of sending a computerized letter. Deceptive websites. In 2009, after customers complained to OFT about deceptive practices by two websites operated by a man in the US state of California that misrepresented themselves as being British, it coordinated actions with the US Federal Trade Commissions, which began an enforcement action 2 years after consent decree required the companies to end those practices and represent their location honestly. Debt management companies. On September 10, the OFT sent warnings to 129 firms after its review of debt management companies found widespread problems with firms putting profits ahead of customer care. Since it issued that warning, 87 firms have surrendered their licenses. Transfer of cash ISAs. In March 2010, Consumer Focus submitted a super complaint to the OFT raising concerns that transferring cash ISAs were taking too long and there were arbitrary rules preventing transfers into some of the most attractive accounts and that interest rates were not sufficiently transparent. The OFT responded in June 2011 with a number of recommendations to ensure that transfers of cash ISAs work better and that there is greater transparency of interest rates. This included the following agreements from cash ISA provider to comply with new industry guidelines to complete end-to-end transfers within the working days and provide personalized interest rate information on cash ISA statements delivered in electronic or paper form. Reckitt Benckiser. In April 2011, the OFT fined Reckitt Benckiser £10.2 million after it found that it had abused its dominant position in the market for the NHS supply of alginate and antacid heartburn medicines. The OFT found that Reckitt Benckiser abused its dominant position by lowering and delisting Gaviscon Original Liquid from the NHS prescription channel in 2005. Groupon. In March 2011, the OFT accepted undertakings from Daily Deals company May City Deal Limited, which trades as Groupon, to change some of its trading practices following an OFT Basically, the investigation found widespread examples of group homes practices which, in the OFT's view, breached consumer protection regulations. The OFT had specific concerns over practices in reference pricing, advertising, refunds, unfair terms, and the diligence of its interactions with merchants. Groupon engaged openly and constructively throughout the investigation and signed undertakings that it will change its practices to comply with the law. Hotel online booking. On 2012, the OFT commenced investigation into the hotel online booking sector. The complainant, a small UK-based online travel agent, Scoosh, claimed that the hotels it bought room bookings from were under pressure from other resellers to maintain minimum prices. On 31 July 2012. The OFT issued a statement of objections against Booking.com, Expedia, and Intercontinental Hotels. In the OFT's provisional review, the parties had infringed competition law in January 2014. The OFT accepted the commitments proposal from the defendant parties in lieu of any fines. The OFT's Mr. Rasmussen acknowledged there was a chance their setup could lead to further monopoly, but he said the OFT would be monitoring within the market. In March 2014, the price comparison site Skyscanner challenged the OFT's decision with the UK's Competition Appeal Tribunal reputation. The OFT was criticized for being ineffective and for many of its investigations leading to no action, plus to the more vigorous approach of United States Department of Justice Antitrust Division and European Union Directorate General for Competition Regulators. Criticism has been levied, among others, in the case of supermarkets, oil companies, retail sales, petrol. In October 2008, the UK Prime Minister Gordon Brown threatened oil companies with an OFT investigation unless lower oil prices were passed to consumers. This was despite several OFT investigations in the past, giving the industry a clean bill of health. The National Audit Office issued a report in March 2009 on the OFT's competition enforcement work, which indicated progress in 7 out of 10 objectives, but also concluded, so whilst the OFT has improved the value for money it provides, there remains scope for the improvement. According to the same report, in 2007, the OFT estimated that its competition enforcement work led to direct savings to consumers worth £77 million per year, and that its market studies work had saved consumers £8 million in 2007. 2008, the OFT costs for these areas of work in the same year were approximately £26 million of its £78 million expenditure in 2007. The OFT board. Super complaints. The following bodies and companies were designated by the Secretary as being able to bring a super complaint to the OFT: the Campaign for Real Life Limited, CAMRA, the Consumer Council for Water, the Consumers Association Trading as Which, the General Consumer Council for Northern Ireland, the National Association of Citizens Advice Bureaux, the National Consumer Council Trading as Consumer Focus. So, management agent. A management agent is a software agent that runs on a managed node, example router, and provides an interface to manage it. It can perform operations on managed objects in the node and can also forward notifications to the manager EMS. The agent software usually resides in the so still gaining information. Estate agent. So all these different data and infos very very important. You got to know what is an estate agent, lettings and property management, commercial estate agents, their internet and your business options. How much does it cost to be an estate agent? Tips and contacts for an estate agent. Test your business idea, opens in a new tab. Register a company, opens in a new tab. Apply for a business loan, opens in a new tab. What is an estate agent? An estate agent is actually a wide ranging title applied to a number of specialisms. Some estate agents specialize in the residential market, but even then, individual homes vary from studio apartments to mansions with acres of land. Some agents specialize in dealing with commercial properties such as office blocks, factories, shops, office blocks, factories, office blocks, factories, shops, and licensed premises. Others deal specifically with lettings and property management, which involves letting property and dealing with all aspects of the let, which includes, in many cases, the responsible for the property on behalf of the property owner. In addition, some estate agents extend the service by offering the specialized knowledge and skills needed to carry out property auctions. Owning an estate agency is an almost unique form of selling. The estate agent is not selling something which belongs to them but represents their client. The property owner agents act as a representative or intermediary between the owner and a possible buyer, using a mixture of skills to persuade customers to sell and buy. Need a loan to start your estate agent's business? Find out more here. One of the essential skills of an estate agent is good communication. Estate agency is people business. Agents have to communicate with many different people, potential buyers and sellers, conveyancers and solicitors, for example, and they have to be able to communicate effectively. A house sale and purchase is usually the largest single purchase that anyone undertakes and is consequently high on the list of the recognized stressors in everyday life. Good communication on the part of the agent can reduce the stress enormously, can make a sale go through more quickly and efficiently, and will ensure that customers come back to the agency with more business. This communication might be face to face, either in the office or in people's homes, or it might be by telephone or by letter. So the main qualities needed in a state agency are good communication and interpersonal skills, and the ability to preserve when things are moving slowly or the market is not particularly favorable. Owning an estate agency can be challenging and rewarding, but there are also times when you'll find it frustrating, even infuriating. But as this is a people business, you will have to keep your fury to yourself. Long protracted delays can ensue just after you have done the bulk of your work, and the process of legally transferring land or property starts. Sometimes cancellations can occur at a very late stage, but which little can be done. And so those to whom a career in selling appeals may need to think twice about going into a state agency, as the final results can take some time to achieve. We're going to start to find out everything you need to know about how to start your own business here. So, it's all about the knowledge. You need to gain that proper knowledge the required knowledge that's going to make you a good estate agent. The more knowledge you have, for instance, if I want to go over some of their famous videos to get some more ideas.
Hello, nice to see you again. It's Graham Martin. I'm the recruitment guy from mortgagejobs.com. Welcome to another 5-minute interview.
It's all research.
Up and down the country, there are thousands, hundreds of thousands of offices like this, estate agents. If you like me, you probably think it's really easy to sell a house. Today, we're going to find out exactly what it takes to become a successful estate agent. We're going to meet James Luton, who's the director of Lanes Property Agents in Hertford. Let's go. So, James Luton, director with Lanes Property Agency in Hertford. Thank you for your time. I know you're really, really busy, so thanks for giving us a couple of minutes. We're going to try and get this in 5 minutes or under. So, let's kick off. What do you do for all that money as an estate agent? What's your job really about?
What's it about? Right, well, it's a completely varied day. So the staff will generally get in at 8:30. I'm usually here an hour or so before that. For a sales negotiator, it's going to be out viewing properties with buyers. It's going to be about seeing sellers and trying to get their property on our books, talking to solicitors, mortgage advisors, delivering leaflets, collecting a for sale board. It could be anything, any one of those.
So are you out a lot?
Yeah, I'd say we're probably out more than half the day.
Really?
To be honest with you, out away from the desk. Yeah.
And what do you think is the best bit for you about being an estate agent?
Best bit of the job is handing the keys over to a client who's just succeeded in buying a property through us. I think that's you can see the emotion in their face. They're clearly very happy about it.
Yeah.
Usually.
Yeah.
And that's definitely the best bit of the job.
And what's the opposites? What's the flip side? There's always two sides to every coin.
Absolutely, yes. Well, the flip side will be if a sale falls through, and unfortunately, probably about 20% of sales won't go through for whatever reason.
Yep.
And often the estate agent has to deal with the emotional fallout from that.
So you've got to pick up the phone and give the bad news, have you?
Yeah, or in the office, in face-to-face meetings,
really?
they're sometimes pretty difficult to deal with.
Yeah.
So you've got to be able to deal with the good and the bad. Yeah.
So when you're thinking about the kind of people that you recruit as estate agents, what skill sets are you looking for?
Well, they've got to be energetic, enthusiastic. They've got to have a desire to do the job and succeed as well.
Yep.
A bit of local knowledge always helps, but there's no necessary qualifications that you need or prior experience, to be honest with you. Sometimes I prefer without.
So you can train people, develop yourself?
Absolutely, yeah.
And is that typical of estate agents, do you think, in the UK in general?
I think generally speaking, yes. Yeah,
Yeah.
I would say it's typical. Yeah, absolutely.
And what about the hours? I get the feeling there's a lot of variety. Is it a 9 to 5 job?
No, this job certainly wouldn't suit those looking for a 9 to 5 working week. No, we work 6 days a week here.
6 days?
As I say, an early start, 8:30 is generally,
Yep.
generally what we're getting at, and we open till 7 at least, and we'll go out after that. If people need to view a property after 7, that's what we'll do. Get the sales done.
So really, you've got to be prepared to commit to it properly.
Absolutely, and Saturday as well.
I think
Yeah.
some businesses open on Sundays
They
as
do,
well.
yeah, some do.
Wow.
And if that's the case, you might get a day off during the week.
But not necessarily if you're not hitting target.
No,
I guess.
exactly, yes, yeah.
It's a
the
very
sales
competitive business, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, there's 9 estate agents in Hertford, so of course you're competing all the time for
Yep.
sellers' business, and you want to also compete for buyers to want to buy through you as well.
And
So,
do you get on with the other estate agents, or is it like football?
well, we
clubs?
don't necessarily socialise down the pub with
Yeah.
over a beer at the end of the day, and no, I tend to try and disassociate myself away
Yeah.
from that and just keep it purely business to business.
So what about the money then? Tell me about the money you can earn as a trainee, somebody coming from scratch, never done it before,
Yep.
good attitude, wants to learn. What are they going to earn with
They're
you?
probably going to start on a basic of between £12,000 and £15,000 on average.
Yep.
But obviously they can then go on and start selling and earning some commission as well. But that's the average starting salary, 12 to 15.
So how much would you earn in terms of your overall salary as a percentage, do you think?
Well, I'd say by the time you're about a year or so down the line and you've got some pipeline of sales going through,
Yep.
you're probably going to look at between 60 to 70% maximum of
Really?
your income per month will be commission based.
Wow.
For a successful
And
agent.
what could you earn then in your first year, or maybe in year 2, once you're
Yeah.
maybe not a superstar, but you're doing okay?
Yeah, I mean, an average to half decent estate agent should probably be banking around £25,000 to £30,000 at the end of year 2, I'd
Right.
suggest.
And where can it go on to? How can you develop and money-wise, and what's promotion like?
Well, prospects are brilliant. I mean, I'm a fairly good example. I started off as a trainee negotiator about 12 or 13 years ago.
Yeah.
I'm now the director of Lanes Hertford. So yeah, come all the way through the ranks and
Fantastic.
managed to succeed.
And what do you look for when you're looking to recruit? Are there a couple of skill sets or attitude aspects that you're looking for?
Well, as I said before, enthusiasm, energy, effective organisational skills as well is absolutely crucial in my view. But other than that, as I said, no necessary experience or skill sets, but they've got to want to do the job. You know, I know it sounds obvious, but the hours are long, but the plus sides are also there to be had.
Do you need to be able to drive?
Yes, yeah, for me that's essential. You know, in Hertford, some of our appointments can be 7 or 8 miles away, so that's an essential part.
But in central London, could somebody maybe get by if they jump on the
I've
tube?
got friends of mine who work in central London, they get the training every day, and they're estate agents, so yeah, don't need their licence there.
So if somebody's interested in becoming an estate agent, there's some websites or associations or magazines they can pick up?
I'd probably start with the National Association of Estate Agents website. There's an excellent section of careers advice there.
Yep.
Or go to a decent recruitment consultant, for example.
Like mine. Good plug, thank you for that.
Sure.
And if you were thinking about one particular aspect, if you're interviewing somebody, they come to you for the first time, what are you looking for? What's going to inspire you to say, you know what, I'm going to take him or her?
Probably their energy. If I could pick one thing, it would be their energy. How enthusiastic are they about the job? And as a secondary bit of information from that, you know, what sort of research have they done in terms of what do they know about our company?
Great,
That's
good stuff.
always a good thing to look
Well, look, we've nailed it in just under 5 minutes. Thank you very much. James Newton from Lanes Property Agents, thank you very much.
Cheers.
So, I found it really interesting. We now know exactly what it takes to become a successful estate agent. Hope you enjoyed that. I certainly did. Graham Martin, the recruitment guy, saying goodbye.
Hi, so you're thinking of setting up a letting agency, or you're thinking of setting up a new business on your own. What's actually involved in running a successful letting agency? How do you do it? What are the different stages that you go through? Surely you just need to stick a board outside and get some landlords, don't you? Well, I'm afraid there's a lot more to it than that. And we've actually identified here at Concentric Lettings, it's actually a 6-step process to success. There's 6 stages that everybody goes through when setting up a letting agency. And what I want to do is go through those with you here today as to what those processes are and how we deal with them. Now, the first step process of all of the 6 stages is number 1, which is you've got to find landlords. If you haven't got any landlords, you've got no clients, you've got no business. So without landlords, you have nothing. So how do you find those landlords? What do you do? Where are they? They don't magic themselves out of nowhere. Quite often putting an advert out for them isn't going to attract them in. So where are the landlords and how do you find them? That's the first step process that every single letting agent struggles with, is finding those initial landlords. And it's about having the right strategies in place to get those landlords to come to you. Option number 2 is obviously you've got those landlords on, and then obviously when it comes to letting them, you need to find some tenants. And people think it's quite simple, you just put them on Rightmove and the tenants will come. But there's a lot more to it than that. If you're dealing with niche market like DSS, they're not going to be looking on Rightmove. If you're dealing with top-end properties, they're not going to be looking on Rightmove. So how do you get those tenants to come to you when you're looking to let those properties? Great getting the landlords on, but if you don't get them let, then you're not going to get any money for them. You're not going to get any deals for them. So it's about getting those tenants to fill those properties. So you've got your landlords, you've got your tenants. What comes next? Number 3 is about administrating it. Now, let me assure you of one thing. Lettings is complex. There is an 80-step process just in creating a file for a let property. You've not got to make sure that the tenancies are right, that the special clauses and terms are in there, that the mortgage clauses that they demand are in there. You've got to make sure the rent's right, the deposit rights, the deposit's protected. You've got to make sure that the safety compliance is all in place, like gas certificate, electrical certificate, EPCs, etc. You've got to make sure the inventory's done, make sure any negotiations are done. You've got so much to do on that file. Then you've got to make sure everything's in the file with proof of ID, proof of address. Everything is authorised and approved, references done, etc. And then you've got to make sure that everything matches with what's on the system, because if you've got a management department that's managing your property and everything's not on the system, that's going to cause problems. So it's about not only finding the landlords and finding the tenants, but also getting those properties administered right and getting that done right. And that can be quite a challenge if you don't know what you're doing. And I have seen so many letting agencies where they've got this bit wrong, and it is a disaster, let me assure you of that. So that's the first 3 steps. Now when it gets to 4, you're getting quite competent at this point. You've found your landlords, you've found your tenants, you've got your administration, so everything seems to be working hunky-dory. But everybody goes through this phase of ups and downs. They're getting landlords on, then they focus on getting them let, and then they're doing the admin. Then when they come out the other side of finishing the admin, because they haven't been focusing on getting the landlords on, they've all of a sudden got no properties to let. Then when they get some properties on, then they've got to panic and get them let again, and then they're doing the admin. They go on this like yo-yo, up and down, where they're finding landlords, finding tenants, getting them administered. So it is really important that Once you've got those first 3 stages done, stage 4 is learning to do them all together. And this is a skill. This is time management. This is managing your time, delegating if necessary, but making sure that every single bit of the process is done all the time. So that is a really important part of the process. Now, once you've got through this, you've got a nice running business there, you're getting landlords on, you're getting the tenants, you're getting them let, you're doing it all at the same time. The next stage that people go through with setting up a letting agency is they want to optimise their income. They might be doing 10 deals a month or 20 deals a month, and they might be making £500 a deal. But wouldn't it be great if you could make £1,000 per deal as opposed to 500? There's so much additional stuff you can do as a letting agent, whether it be maintenance, refurbs, lettings insurance, landlords insurance, buildings insurance, whether it be all sorts of things that you can do to build value into that deal. So it's how do you optimise that income? How do you make more per deal? Because you're going to be a busy fool if you have to do twice as many deals to make X amount of pounds when you can do half that amount and make the same money. Double your income, half the amount of deals that are needed to make the same money. So you can make yourself a lot more money by optimising that income, and this is stage 5. Stage 6 is you're doing everything that you need to do, you've optimised your income, you're making a good profit. The next stage is to build a team. You don't want to be doing this forever. You want to be able to go on holiday and not have to worry about the business continuing. And so we work with you to take a step back and to actually build a team. Bring staff in, bring the right staff in to do the right job, motivate them right, pay them right, and get them doing the job for you. So you can focus on higher value things like perhaps doing acquisitions, helping landlords to buy properties, refurbishing properties, furnishing properties, whatever. So that's it. That's our 6-step process that's all about setting up a letting agent. Number 1, find landlords. Number 2, find tenants. Number 3, administer the deals properly to make sure everything is set up right. Number 4, learning to do it all together, all at the same time to stop these yo-yos. Step 5 is optimise your income and make more money per deal so you don't have to run around like a silly fool. And number 6 is to actually build a business and step back so that other people are running the business for you, so that you are using other people's time to make you money. And that's it as we see here at Concentric, the 6-step process setting up a letting agency. It's not rocket science, but within every single one of those stages, there is a million questions. Anyway.
So as you can see, to open up estate agents, first, 1, need to find landlords. And then once you find landlords, then one need to find those who's going to rent out. So they need to find their for buyers, landlords, buyers, or those who's going to rent out, those who's going to rent the property, those going to take the property in renting. And then go to administer that. What do I mean by administer? You got to file it, proof of ID, proof of address, proof of residential. You get all the details, get the agreement right, all the terms and conditions, how the property must be used, get all that correct. How long? If there are hundreds of tens of conditions, then get all the hundreds. If there are 20, then get all the 20 boxes checked and ticked. That's what you call admin work. So you got to do the admin work. And fourthly, you got to be in a flow and organizing in order. So you have to be a very organizing person who's organizing and going in order, not just waving about. So you got to flow and you got to go in order. That's number 4. So first landlord, then those who's going to take it from you, the customers, and then you got to be a good admin. And fourthly, everything has to be in an organizing manner. And fifthly, you got to find out ways to increase your income. So that how many deals are you doing in a day? How many deals are you doing in a week? If you're making whatever you're making by doing, for instance, 10 deals, then you try to make that same, and this is the way you increase the income, by making the same money by doing 5 deals. So increase 100% profit. So you got to watch out. That's the optimizing the income, and how to increase and generate the income power from your deals. Don't, if you're making £10 profit per deal, increase it to £15, increase it to £20 through that same deal. If you're making £20, increase it to £40. If you're making £40, increase it to £100. Some deals may give you £1,000. Different deals, few deals you can get, £50 out of it. Some deals you can get £2,000 out of it. So you increase the income in different deals. So it's all about that. Very important. And the last but not the least is you got to do very good teamwork. You got to have a very good, clever teammates, colleagues. You got to get more people involved, get your brother involved, get your father involved, get someone who's looking for a job, get them into employment, educate them, train them, get them off the road, take them out make them busy. Why are they wasting their time? Just sleeping away, just wasting away. They're going to end up doing some criminal activities. They're going to be ending up wasting their lives. They're going to be ending up doing something harmful to the society and to the locality, to the community, to the national, to the monarch, to the national, to the international. So they're going to be ending up doing something harmful and something which is not correct and wrong. So educate them, get them close, invite them and welcome them, and say, I welcome you, I invite you for this job and training, and at the end I'll employ you. You're going to earn £10,000 a year. You're going to be earning £12,000 a year. You're going to be earning, your initial earning will start from £13,000 and it's going to go onward from 13 to £15,000. Then you're going to go up to 20,000 to 30,000. Then your income can go up to 30 and 30 plus. So you got to show them the benefits. You got to tell them the benefits, inform them of how they're going to be successful. Because everyone looking to be successful in life, tell them it's easy. It's not that hard. Don't make it very difficult for people. Make it easy for them. Say this is how you do it. It's very simple. You're going to do it like that, and you're going to get a life. You're going to get a future. You're going to get money. You're going to get future. You're going to work. You're going to live. You're going to grow. You're going to do everything. So you got to teach that. So all of that is part of who you are and who you will be. So, as I told you, this is just a random research on how to be a good estate agent. So
I hope that's been helpful. My name is Sally Lawson. I'm from Concentric Lettings. We're a national lettings operation, and we're also a national UK franchisor as well. You can find out more about the letting side on www.concentriclettings.co.uk, and we let and manage properties all over the UK, and we even do HMOs and LHA as well. And with regards to the franchise, if you're interested in looking at that as an option, you can find out more details at www.ukfranchiseopportunities.info. Want to find out more about me? You can check my website out, which is sallylawson.co.uk. I hope this has been useful for you. Thank you very much.
So let's
Jesse. Today, thanks to Student Edge, we're going to go inside a career and find out if it's the right job for you. Now, houses come in all shapes and sizes, but have you ever thought about what's actually involved in selling one? Which is why today we're at Altitude Real Estate to see if it's the right job for you. Today we're having a chat to someone who knows all about the real estate industry. Paul Tonich, Director of Altitude Real Estate.
Hi Jesse, Paul Tonich.
Hi mate. Look, today we want to find out exactly what it takes to do what you do. So do you reckon you can show us around?
Yeah, no problem, let's go.
Cool.
Jesse, come into my office and I'll answer your questions.
Cool, man.
So Jesse, what do you want to know?
Well mate, you've won countless awards. I want to know exactly how you got to where you are.
At the age of 26, I was looking at a career change, and I just purchased a property a few years earlier, and the real estate agent actually called me when he heard about that and said, hey, why don't you come and have a look at real estate? Struck my interest. I had a meeting with him and didn't look back. I think when I look back at why my results have been what they are, it's my ability to communicate. I really went out and met with some great people that showed me probably just the little tweaks you've got to do to have the ability to win trust really quickly. We only get 45 minutes with someone. In that 45 minutes, obviously we've got to know our product and our strategies, but winning their trust is probably the best thing you can do to really step ahead in the career and get away from the pack.
So Paul, I imagine being a real estate agent is just all about selling houses.
No, it's a lot more than that. Really, you get to see a broad part of society, and when someone calls you, they actually have a problem that you've got to solve, and usually it's come off something that's happened in their life. Sometimes it's a death of a family member, sometimes it's actually a job promotion or having kids or even a marriage breakup. And at the time, you have to be able to, I suppose, relate to the people and actually absorb their pressure and stress, or actually listen and actually know what they want. And so part of it is not just actually putting the property on the market, it's actually understanding why.
Okay, Paul, so let's go behind the scenes. I want you to take me through a normal day of a real estate agent.
Yeah, firstly, it's 7 days a week, no matter what part of your career you're involved in. You actually serve the public and you serve your clients. So, you can set a structure for the week, but part of it is that we're reactive. The phone suddenly rings, you've had 4 or 5 things to do during that day, like getting marketing ready, writing ads, talking to the owners. You've always got to be prepared, you've always got to be ready. And it's one of the things that the elite people in this industry know, always be able to be contactable, always be on call. And that's a really hard balance as you do develop, maybe getting married or a family, of keeping that sustainable.
Well, mate, it looks like there's a lot of hard work, but there's also a lot of rewards.
Yeah, absolutely. It's probably the first opportunity that a lot of people get to open a business within a business. It allows that if you are a creative type, that you've got full autonomy on where you can take things, you've got the ability to be flexible with your time, but there is huge financial rewards. Someone coming to the industry that could actually work hard for the first couple of years, by year 3 or 4, they could be taking home anywhere between $600,000 to $1 million a year. And that's not totally unusual for the elite performers.
Okay, Paul, so now it's time to give us the edge. I've got 3 questions for you. What makes a good agent?
Huge energy to start with, great enthusiasm, and the real ability to win trust with people.
How do I become an agent, and what qualifications do you need?
You don't have to have gone through uni. You do need to be licensed, so you do a course with the Real Estate Institute. But really, there's a chance for a traineeship. A lot of good agents are looking for personal assistance. After maybe 2 or 3 years, those people develop into salespeople themselves and build their own business.
Okay, Paul, so if you could start again next week, what's one thing you would do differently?
I think I'd understand that I could have joined the industry earlier. When I did join, I was 26 years of age. The average age of an agent was 57. And I had this perception that you maybe had to be old and grey to get credibility with owners. Nowadays, at the age of 20, you can start as an agent. You just got to have drive and ambition.
Well, Paul, thanks so much for having a chat to us today.
No worries, Jesse.
So there you go. Hopefully now you've got enough information to decide whether being a real estate agent is the right career for you. For more information and to get involved, hit up studentedge.com.au.
Are you living in the UK? Have you ever thought of starting a business? Starting a business venture that will ensure maximum return is a challenge to many UK citizens. There are many business ventures available, but you should have concrete reasons to make you start a particular business. In the UK, there is a high population and each year people will want to own their own homes. Because of the high number of people wanting to own their own homes, let's discuss why an estate agency business is one of the best businesses to start in the UK. Estate agency business will plan and organise for people to buy buildings for various uses. In the UK, many people are willing to own their own homes. This is an increased market for an estate agency business. Many people will flock to your business in need of your services. The increased market will ensure increased transactions, hence increased profit, which is the ultimate aim for any business, estate agency business included. One of the best reasons to start up an estate agency is that there is low expense incurred in starting your estate agency. After you have the skills and know the ins and outs of running an estate agency, you'll find the estate agency business very easy to start. It doesn't involve buying stocks like in other businesses, where stocks can last in stores, making you receive less profit during the low seasons. Other businesses will require you to withdraw your capital from the bank and invest in them in order for them to run. In an estate agency business, you only need a small amount of money, which you'll use mostly in travelling to different parts of the UK to meet customers. After the customers have gathered confidence in your business, they may even contact you through phone calls, which will reduce your expenses greatly. You will be risking your capital least in carrying out an estate agency business in the UK. A business that is less risky is always the best. This fulfills the reason why an estate agency business is one of the best businesses to start. After starting an estate agency in the UK and it becomes stable by gaining familiarity, you'll be assured of its continued growth. This is because each year there are people who would like to start families. After the youths get older and married, they'd like a house for them to start their own life, free from the parents' interference. This will ensure your estate agency business continued source of customers, which will impact positively on the growth. After you start a business, its growth should be among your considerations. A successful business will be manifested in its growth. This forms another reason as to why an estate agency business is one of the best businesses to start. When you are looking to start your estate agency business, you need to know what to do and how to go about it the correct way. That's why you should pick up a copy of How to Start Up a Successful Estate Agency Guide. It contains all the information that you need in order to get your estate agency off the ground. It will guide you through the basics of how and what you need to do in order to build a profitable and stable business that you can run and be proud of for many years to come. So, if you've ever considered starting up an estate agency in the past but not sure what you need to do in order to succeed, then pick up your copy and get your dream of running your very own estate agency off the ground today.
Harrison. I work for Keaton's in the Bow office as a lettings consultant. I joined the company having not worked in the industry before. My daily routine when I come into the office is I email back all the clients from the day before. I then give landlords feedback and register some clients. From about 11 o'clock we do viewings, usually do about 5-6 viewings a day until about 7 o'clock in the evening. Try and get as many properties seen by each client as possible. My normal process to work with clients is we take all the requirements at the first meeting, we make sure that we're matching the correct properties, and then we'll arrange viewings for later on in the day or the next week or so. Hopefully do a viewing in one go with a lot of properties and hopefully wrap the deal up that day. So when I first joined Keaton's, I shadowed senior members of the team. I went on a number of viewings with them, learned how to conduct a viewing, how to meet applicants, how to speak to clients. Then we learned the legal side of things, so I learned about terms and conditions, tenancy agreements, how the process works, so that I understood what happened after someone did agree to take a property on. My advice for a new employee would be that Keaton's definitely a great company to join. The people are amazing, the offices are great, the level of clients you get in and the standard of clients is just fantastic. There's a lot of team building, like you feel like you are part of the team the second you join. And also being an estate agent, obviously you're not stuck behind a desk all day. You do get to go out and meet loads of people. So if you are a person who likes to be around people, it's a great job to get into. I think the qualities that make a great estate agent are personality. I think it's important to show clients and applicants the professional side of the estate agency, make sure that they trust you, understand that you are there to help them. I think you need to be outgoing and charismatic, and I think Keaton's are striving to change the way that estate agents are viewed by the general public.
So far, I've just done some research on how to be an estate agent, but there are a lot more to do, because knowledge and gaining information and learning more and more and getting yourself educated is basically endless. It goes on forever. There's no an end to anything. But so far, I've gathered some sort of a tiny picture on how to be an estate agent. But as I told you, there are certain areas I still need to do more research on these areas to get more info and to get a good coverage over these certain areas, so I am more aware of what's happening in these areas. Because as I said, I'm planning to start off an estate agent, and anyone who wants to start off an estate agent should follow these steps and should educate themselves. First of all, research is the most important thing. Learn to know how those successful who became successful in this letting, in this agent, in this real estate, get and understand how they became successful. So you got to learn and from their path, the path they treaded, and the path they treaded and that led them to the success in that field. You also tread that same path. You go and follow that same path so you become successful as a successful state agent, successful who's a letting agent, state agent, management agent. So this is just a starting point on the research on how to be. So just to give you a little taste on how is it like to be an estate agent, is always useful to know and to listen to this entire more than 1 hour, this entire series, this entire talk, and this entire research. And thank you. God bless you. Have a good time. And hoping you that you get a good career, and I'm hoping that you enjoy in doing your research in your study, and I'm hoping that you become successful in your life and as well as in this life and the hereafter, and you do become a successful, and this career becomes a very suitable career for you. Thank you indeed, and thank you very much. I really thank you from the bottom of my heart for